Oh, this is my first video ever for YouTube, so apologies if it's a little bit unprofessional. It possibly may be my last video, I don't know, it just depends how this goes, but what I want to talk about today is the ongoing persecution of Tommy Robinson. Now, it seems to me that it's getting a little bit out of control. We've got people who are against him and people who support him who are becoming more and more aggressive towards each other, I think. And I think the message of this video really is that this game of one-upmanship against Tommy and then his supporters against his detractors has got to stop. We've got to start to reach out and come together about this issue. Now, I'm going to break down here exactly who I believe to be playing a part in this. In the interest of fairness, I do put a little bit of the blame on the supporters as well as his detractors. But first of all, I want to talk about John Sweeney, the boss of Panorama. I'm sure that everybody watching this has all seen the Panorama video from Tommy. John, what you did was disgraceful. It was an attack on not just Tommy, but on his family, and which will filter down to his 3 children. Now, we've got to keep that at the front of our minds in all this, is that the man has got 3 children who are going to be suffering endlessly through all this. John, the best thing you can do now, mate, is to come out and say, look, what I did was wrong. I made a mistake. And the people who support him will probably respect you for that. Your level of respect right now is probably 0. If we're going to come together, we've got to get that back again. We've got to get respect back for our broadcasters, our journalists. And I think that what John has done is, there's a lot of, well, let's just say that he's not held in very high regard amongst many people at the minute, I don't think. Unfortunately, what he seems to be doing at the minute is he seems to be continuing to play this game of one-upmanship. He's already been colluding with Mike Stutsbury, the man who went round mob-handed to Tommy's house, did Tommy's wife and children's house and terrorised his children. Look, mate, just come out, accept that you got it wrong. You were found out. Tommy beat you at your own game. You were found out. Stop trying to get back one over on him. Come out, accept your responsibility for what you did. It was wrong. You made a mistake. Apologise to him. Secondly, I want to mention Hope Not Hate, which is an organisation, of course, that has come a little bit more to the fore after this video. What I say to you guys is, first of all, you need to either change your name or you need to start acting in a way that befits your name. Because right now, you are not spreading hope, you are spreading hatred towards Tommy and towards his family. And it's got to stop. If you really do stand for hope and not hate, as you claim that you do, then you've got to reach out to Tommy's supporters. You've got to say, look, what we're doing here is wrong. We should not be persecuting one man just because we don't agree with him. Because after all, you know, people's views differ. People agree with Tommy, people don't. That what makes a healthy democracy, I guess you could say. But it's going to get more aggressive. There is a lot of aggression going on because Hope Not Hate tried to bring him down. Tommy got one over on him. And now they're still, instead of accepting that they got it wrong. They're continuing the persecution of him. Guys, my message to you is stop it. Let's come together. We've got to end this division and come together. Thirdly, I want to talk about the mainstream media in general. You guys are supposed to be unbiased and supposed to be fair. Fairness is the key word in this. You're not treating Tommy fairly. Yes, all right, he has done some things that he regrets himself. He's done in the past, he's done things that he regrets. But you cannot continue to hold certain misdemeanours over somebody forevermore. People have got to be allowed to move on. They've got to be allowed to say, well, look, I did this, it was wrong. Tommy's apologised for things that he's done in the past. He's admitted that things he's done was wrong. And we've got to allow the bloke to put right things that he's done wrong. Because at the end of the day, you might not agree with what the things he does and says, but Tommy does what he does because he cares. He cares about his children, and not only that, he cares about your children, all of you. Children who are having to grow up with the threat of gangs of men who systematically abuse them. People put it down to, oh, he just likes to promote himself. He just thinks it's cool to promote himself and promote his agenda. I don't believe that. When you look at his conviction, Tommy's conviction, they've tried to bring him down by fair means or foul. The mainstream media, by fair means or foul. They've tried to do it fairly. It's failed. And now increasingly they're using foul means. John Sweeney is one such person who has now used foul and criminal means even. Please stop this persecution of him. Report the truth. Stop reporting biased media. Stop making up stories against him. Report the truth. He's taking the police to court. As I make this video now, he's taking the police to court over persecution of his family on the day out. If he wins against the police, report on it. Show that you're unbiased. And lastly, I want to mention the Attorney General, Mr. Geoffrey Cox. I want you to take a look at what's happened, Mr. Cox, over the past year. Tommy was wrongfully imprisoned. The judge who did his case, who tried his case, agreed that he was wrongfully imprisoned. He spent 2 months in solitary confinement being tortured. He was abused, he was starved, he had feces thrown at him through his window. He was told that his wife was going to be attacked with acid. Just take a look into yourself, Mr. Cox, and ask yourself, has this man not suffered enough? And is it really in the public interest to take him back to court over this very same charge that he has been exonerated from? It's not in the public interests. It might be in your interests, and it might be in the interests of the establishment, but it is not in the public interest, because Tommy doesn't pose a threat to the public. He doesn't. What threat does he pose? Absolutely none whatsoever. But you want him off the streets because you don't like what he says. You are supposed to be a conservative Attorney General. Start acting it, please. Stop this persecution. We all know that this is a political witch hunt. You're not fooling anybody with this. We all know that now, that it's a political witch hunt and nothing more. And then, in the interest of fairness, I just want to make a note to Tommy's supporters who are getting a little bit fed up and probably increasingly aggressive. One such example of what I want to mention is that I was at Salford watching the Panodrama live, and at one point Danny Tomo informed the crowd that there was some Antifa scum who had made it through the police barrier. I get where you're coming from, Danny, but not cool. Because using the word scum just antagonises them all the more. What we should be doing with these people is trying to engage with them. We should be trying to reach out to them and offer our hand of friendship. Now, I know that's a little difficult when they're shouting abuse and they're screaming at us and they're waving their placards, Nazi scum off our streets and all that BS. I know it's difficult, but we've got to be the bigger people. We've got to show that we are the bigger person. We've got to reach out to these people and we have to say, we want to talk to you. We want to engage with you. Now, on that particular day, I actually approached the area that Panodrama was being screened in from the other end of town, so I didn't actually see any of these crowds that were there. I wish I had have done, because I was there with my Donald Trump t-shirt on, and I would have reached out to those people and tried to engage with them if I knew they were there. Unfortunately, I didn't, so I missed that opportunity. But that's the underlying message in this video. Please stop the game of one-upmanship. Please, let's come together. And please, let's all stand up and support Tommy in his hour of need. Because we all know that what's happening to him, whether we're on the left or the right of the argument, we all know it's unfair. That's all for today. If you want to like this video or to post a comment, I'm open to all comments, whether they be negative or positive. So this is my first video. And just as a final note, just to sign the petition that's currently going around. It's on change.org. It's called Stop the Persecution of Tommy and His Family. Please sign that petition. We're currently on about 13,000 signatures. It's important that we sign that. Thank you very much and goodbye.